Good morning and welcome to Mornings with Mary. Today we're going to talk about when we feel like this inside and how to not lose our cool when this is how we're feeling. Yeah. Won't that be fun? Because right about now, good morning, Becky. Right about now, I feel like this. Ready? And the reason I feel like that is I'm kind of tired. I've been up since 4 o'clock. Lizzie was up coughing all night. And Sarah's been up. And yesterday was a really hard day with Sarah. She is 10 and a half going on hormones. So we'll just leave it at that. So, needless to say, I'm a little tired and I really feel like that. And yesterday I had a viewer ask me to do a segment on how not to yell. Well, I thought that was rather ironic because I felt like yelling all day yesterday. I felt like telling my child to go take a dip in a freaking freezing lake. Like I just wanted to yell at her and tell her to shut the F up all day long because she was blaming me for everything. And in her hormonal madness and her own feelings of self-deprivation, etc., she was basically transferring her emotions, how she felt about herself, and using the word you instead of I. And everything inside of me wanted to argue back with her. Everything inside of me wanted to say, hey, kiddo, that's really not true. But the point was, what I had to do was take a step back, swallow my ego, and listen to understand where she was coming from. So I could have totally gone head to head. And I will be honest with you, she did tell me that, hey, Mom, your body language is defensive, your tone of voice is defensive. And all I could do was look at her and say, I feel defensive. I feel attacked. So yes, it is defensive. Let me see if I can shift it. Let me see how I can work this because I had to stop myself from basically ripping her a new asshole. Because when we feel attacked, what's the first thing we do? We want to go defend ourselves, right? We want to say, no, that's not right. You're not seeing it right. You're not doing it right. You're not hearing me right. Well, guess what? Maybe we're not hearing them right. So all day yesterday, I had to tell myself the following. What do you want her to feel? And what is the goal that you have for the day? Sometimes my goal was just keep my mouth fucking shut. And I literally just inside my mouth. Because what she didn't need was someone going back and attacking her. And my going back to attack her would just cause this eruption of bullshit that we didn't need. So my ultimate goal was for her to feel heard and to feel understood. And until she could feel understood and feel heard, all it would be a clash, basically a clash of egos, right? So this is what I did. This is the God's honest truth. Before I opened my mouth, I said it through the filter of what is the purpose of what I'm saying? Is it to do good or is it to defend myself? I was quiet a lot, like a whole lot, because everything I wanted to say had no real goal other than to be right, to put her in her place, and probably not to do good. Like, really, honestly, not do good, because I felt attacked. And so I sat there a lot, and rather than defend myself, I'd say to her, can you tell me more about that? I really hear that you're upset. Can you tell me more? And so this would lead her to the next thing, which would lead her to unload a little more. Hey, good morning, darling. Am I coming through okay this morning? Because sometimes there's like this breakup and stuff. So all day yesterday, she was an emotional mess. And we all have days like that. I'm actually feeling like I have one today. I'm tired. And so if I'm hungry, angry, lonely, tired, that halt thing, people will react. It's a human condition. Okay? So when you are hungry, angry, lonely, tired, you must halt before you open your mouth. And all last week and the beginning of this week, I've been talking about, that space between stimulus and response. Yesterday, we talked about that in response to your attitude, right? You want to parent with your heart, but you choose your attitude. Well, choosing your attitude is what happens in that space between stimulus and response, between what's going on and what comes out of your mouth. So you choose your attitude in that little space. And the attitude that I had to choose yesterday was really hard. I had to choose good morning. I had to choose not reacting. I had to choose not to go back at my child as she railed against me. Now, she wasn't verbally abusing me. She wasn't doing anything horrible, Good morning, Christina. She was just really, really frustrated and feeling really angry, and she was making a lot of you statements. You made me do this. I mean, quite honestly, I asked her to type and it came out to 7 minutes. And that was my pushing her. All right. Yes, we unschool, but she also has visual disabilities and dyslexia and other things. And she has to just keep trying to make those pathways into the brain. It's a little bit. 7 minutes. Really not a big deal in life. Let's face it, when we were in school, it was like 8 hours a day. 7 minutes, 8 hours. 7 minutes, 8 hours. And so that's where my brain was going. And my brain was honestly going, what the fuck, kid? Are you fucking kidding me? You're fucking giving me a hard time over 7 fucking minutes on a typing program that you got a 90. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this was literally going through my head until like 10 o'clock last night. That exact line. And obviously I didn't say that. But that was going through my head. And so she was just like, Mom, this isn't fair. You're pressuring me. You're making me do things I'm not ready to do. And they have to be perfect. And you say it now. If you know me at all, I'm not about being perfect. I'm about, let's just take a step every day. Do the best that you can. And then we'll move from there. And if you find something that doesn't work, that's a great thing too. Because then you know what doesn't work. Let's try the opposite of that and see if that works. And if that doesn't work, then we'll just keep trying different things. So apparently that attitude she shared with me makes her feel intimidated. Wow. Like, I'm 5'1" and 115 pounds. I didn't know I could be intimidating. But apparently it is. And both of my girls, as we sat there over burgers yesterday, were telling me that that is intimidating to them. It is intimidating that I just never give up. That I just don't sit down and say, oh, I can't do this anymore. But had I been in their face, had I been looking to get them to understand me, rather than me listen to understand them, they never would have been able to tell me that. We never would have gotten to the point where I could say, wow, I'm so sorry that how I am makes you feel frightened, makes you feel intimidated, makes you feel less than. Let's work on a way together that if that's how I'm coming across to you, you can say to me, hey, Mom, I'm feeling intimidated. Can we address this later? Yeah, we can. Okay? The entire day, I literally had to spend listening to understand rather than listening to respond. And so many times when we lose our temper as parents, right, it has to do with things like they're talking back to us, or they're verbally attacking us, or we're tired, we're hungry, we're angry, we're lonely, you name it. I'm tired today. I have to watch it today. But we have to understand that we are responsible for teaching them the reaction. So I was going through at 5 a.m. today, going through some Facebook groups and reading over some text. And there's this one mom who's really sharing, she's having a really hard time. And she admits that she is the reason why her child is having this behavior. That's a great first step, understanding and owning your own behaviors, because children model what we do. Whether they are toddlers or they are teenagers, they model it. So what behavior are you having that you're seeing on your children that you yourself don't like? That's a great first place to start. Okay. The next thing to do is when they do hit your buttons, and oh my God, do they hit your buttons? Like bingo, like hot spot right on you. Stop. Take that space where you choose your attitude between the stimulus and your response and think for a moment, what do I want them to walk away with? What do you want them to feel? What you say becomes their inner voice. What are you going to say to them that's going to make the situation better or diffuse it? Sometimes you can say nothing, and that's fine too. There are times that being silent is better. Yesterday, after they were telling me how they were feeling intimidated, and my always trying to find a solution is really hard for them because they don't see it and they don't feel it, and it gets to be too much. I stayed quiet. And Sarah was like, Mom, you're quiet. I upset you. I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, you didn't upset me. I'm listening. I'm absorbing. I'm processing. And Liz is like, yeah, just let Mom process. And so we went from burgers to finding a consignment shop that was across the parking lot. And Elizabeth went in by herself, and Sarah stayed out in the car. And she literally just had this whole breakdown. And all this river of stuff started flowing out of her. We're talking like sobbing, snot out the nose sobbing, okay? And I just had to sit and listen. But I did say, when things were not correct, hey, kiddo, that's not based on reality. I just have to say that feels like you're attacking me, because that's not based on reality. Can you tell me more about how you're feeling that way? And that was really hard because, oftentimes it was frustrating. But by the end of it, the most amazing thing happened. She asked me to come back and sit with her, which I did. And she gave me a big hug. And she's like, thank you just for listening and not helping me try to find solutions. And through it all, she actually came to understand that when she was attacking me and I apologized to her for making her feel that she was less than, that I apologize that she feels that way. It was never my intention. And we were going back and forth. I'm like, but I've apologized. I've said I'm sorry. That means I will work on not doing it again. She had the most insightful thing to say, and it was, I haven't accepted your apology to myself. I haven't accepted the apology inside myself. So she had this awakening moment that it comes from the self, absolutely from the self. And that's how you keep your temper, is that you keep it from getting out of yourself. You take that spot between stimulus and response where you choose your attitude and you really focus on that. You think, you stop. You're the adult. You stop and think, what is the purpose of what I'm about to say? That's it. There's no magic bullet. There's no magic pill. There's nothing that I can tell you that's going to be mind-blowing other than you stop and you halt yourself. And when you halt yourself, you give yourself time to breathe. Whether that is you breathe in for a count of 5 to 10 through your nose and out through your mouth before you respond. It has to go through a filter. Think of it like this, okay? If someone has blood clots in their legs, okay, and the blood clots are the words you're about to say, they put a stent in their leg, okay, so it doesn't get to the heart and kill you. Well, your words can be like those blood clots. You have to put a filter in before it gets to your child's heart, because you cannot take back what is said. And they may not remember what you said, but they will remember always how you made them feel. You have to be that filter. You have to work diligently, day after day, moment after moment, rail after rail at you to find your filter. That's the key. There's no other magic bullet. There's no other information. Is you have to find your filter. Whatever that is for you. A filter for me is I breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, and I think to myself, what do you want her to feel? What is your goal? Because I'm raising an adult to be. I'm not raising a child. How do I want her to feel? How do I want her to walk away from the situation? What do I want her to learn? That's it. If I can't stop myself and think those 3 things, I need to remove myself. My child doesn't need a timeout. I need a timeout. If I need that timeout, I need to say to them, hey, I need 10, 15 minutes by myself. I'm about to lose my cool. And what does that teach your child? Now, depending on the age of your child, depends on how long you have to do that. If you have a toddler, you may not be able to do that and do it safely if there's no one else at home. I'm well aware of that. I've had toddlers. I've been a single mom. I get that. But then you say, you know what? I'm going to go take a bath. Or mommy's going to go to the bathroom. Here's a coloring book. You have to be the adult. You have to remove yourself from the situation. Oftentimes when your kids are railing and they're having a really hard time, sometimes they actually need what's called a time in, and they need to be held. Depends if you have an attention seeker or an attention avoider. For Elizabeth, she wanted to be alone. For Sarah, she needs to be touched. You need to know your child, but you also need to know yourself. I'm a sensory avoider, and so when I get overwhelmed, don't touch me. My kids know to ask. And that's something in our family that's really important to us, is you need to ask before you touch someone. 2 of us have PTSD. You totally have to ask before you touch us. 2 of them don't. They're both attention seekers. So those are things that we've had to work out within our own family. But back to tempers, you have to also be respectful. Like I said, you have to be that filter. Your words become the blood clot of someone's heart. And you really have to think about that before you open your mouth. Who's the one in charge? Is it you? Is it your kid? Or is it your anger? I mean, if your anger's in charge, you need to do some self-checking. And it's totally fine to get angry. I'm not saying don't get angry. I get angry. But you got to filter what comes out of your mouth. You have to make sure that what you're saying has a purpose. It needs to be almost like proactive, and in so much as you know why you're doing it. You're going to start thinking about, well, what's the end result of what I'm about to say? And then you're going to think, I need to understand more before I open my mouth. Because people really just want to be heard and to be understood. That's it. That's all you want when you're trying to get your point across, right? You're like, oh my God, why aren't you just listening to me? Why don't you understand? Because you're not stopping to understand them. It's both sides, mama. Both sides have to be understood and listened to. And it's your job as the mom to sit back and see first what they have to say and seek to understand where they're coming from first. Don't put in your own voice. Listen. Listen. Now, if they're getting out of hand, it's totally okay to put a boundary down and say, hey, that's not right, or that really hurt. They do not have the right to be disrespectful. They do not have the right to use vulgarity at you. One time, for example, I'm going to talk about vulgarity as I find it kind of funny. So Elizabeth's 19, and I was very calm in our conversation, and she was just going off the hook, like off the hook, and she couldn't hear my answers. And so I looked at her and I'm like, Liz, do you need me to talk to you like another 19-year-old? She's like, yes. So I did. I'm completely fluent in fucking-ese. I used to work on a trading floor when I was like 22, 23 years old, completely fluent in fucking-ese. So I did. I talked to her in fucking-ese. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you thinking? And within like 3 minutes, we were both laughing hysterically. But I wasn't using the word at her. I wasn't saying that she was a fucking bitch. It was just talking in her 19-year-old language so it could get through to her. You need to think of your child's language. You need to think, what is the product that you are looking to get to at the end? And damn it, put the filter on yourself. You do not have the right to have violent verbal diarrhea on your child and then expect them not to give it back to you. They're going to. They're going to give you what you show them. The reason Sarah had such awesome insight yesterday when she was able to say, Mom, I haven't accepted your apology inside of myself. You can say it all you want, but until I'm ready to accept it inside of me, it doesn't matter. I need to accept the apology so I can forgive myself. She's 10. It's because she's seen that modeled. Okay? The reason she was able to come to the conclusion that she is transferring all of her upsetment and putting my name on how she's actually feeling and the pressure that she's putting on herself is because I just listened to understand where she's coming from. That's it. She was able to come to this conclusion at 10 and a half because she's seen it modeled. It's nothing like rocket science. It's just, hey, let's really look into this some more. And at the end of it, she's like, thank you so much for listening and making sure you understood before you even suggested a solution. And I was like, honey, sometimes there is no solution. Sometimes the solution is just you need to vent. That's it. And oftentimes we interrupt our child's needing to vent because it frightens us. It triggers something in ourselves, whether it's the bully from school, a parent who was abusive, an ex-spouse who was abusive, how society made us feel, but it triggers something inside of us. And as the adult, we are the ones who are responsible for stopping the trigger reaction. We can't stop it from happening inside of us at that moment, but we can filter what comes out of us. So once again, I'm just going to reiterate and bring it all back full circle because I need this for myself today. It's going to be a long one. I'm tired. So hopefully I will remember not to be hungry. So I will eat today and eat well and eat foods that nourish my body, not eat junk food, not eat potato chips, which I happen to love. I'm going to eat things that are really good, that are full of hydration, that have nutrient value so that my body's being nourished. Because if I'm tired, that really needs to be done. So I need to make sure I have bananas for potassium. I have lots of water. I have green tea, only 1 cup of coffee. Then anger. If I feel my anger bubbling to the top, I need to give myself a timeout. Tell my kids, hey, I'm a little cranky right now. I need some time. I'm going to go read a book. You can come sit next to me, whatever it is, but I need to detach. I can feel my anger rising. If I'm lonely, I need to identify that. Am I lonely inside myself? Are my emotions lonely? Am I physically lonely? How can I meet that need? And tired, Tia. I'm hopefully going to be able to meditate for a little while today. Did you know that like a half an hour, 45 minutes of guided meditation is equal in your body to like 4 hours worth of sleep? Hello. Thank you, YouTube. So you want to halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Notice that for yourself. Notice it for your child. If there are any of those things, they're going to act out. Okay? Remember that you need to have a filter. Your words can be that blood clot to their heart. Have a filter. Make sure that before it comes out of your mouth, you stop yourself between stimulus and response. Choose your attitude right in the middle there, okay? Ask yourself, what is the point of what I'm going to say? What is the end result that I want? And what is my child going to walk away feeling? Not thinking, feeling, because that's what they're going to remember. Always remember how they felt about it, all right? And from there, if you have nothing nice to say, as Thumper said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's simple. Don't make it more complicated. All right, everybody got that? Awesome. So I'm going to sign off today because I need to go get some water. I can feel it. I'm tired. I need to stay hydrated. I need to eat well. I hope everyone has an awesome day. Tomorrow is Friday, which is Ask Mary Anything Day. So please make sure if you have any questions, leave them below. I will answer them tomorrow morning. And we're going to go from there. I can't believe it's going to be Friday. So let me know what you think of the speech. If you're watching this on the playback, let me know where you're from. Give me a thumbs up, a heart, or a thumbs down. Let me know what you think. And let me know if this helped you. Did this give you some tools to be able to stop your own temper flaring? If not, let me know that too. I'll see what else I can dig out of my toolbox for you. I hope you guys have a great Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.